Okay, so Carl White, thank you. Cheers, my friend. I brought my coffee to get us a little fired up this
And
morning.
I brought my tea.
Well, let me tell you, I know you are not shy of energy and you are constantly on the go. So you carving out some time to join me on the Inside Edge. I love to be able to give folks like you, people that have done extraordinary things that have poured into so many other people. One of my favorite things I think about this show, and every time we do it, we learn something new, and every person has so much on their heart to be able to pull up those other people as we're all climbing the ladder of success. And so I was excited to spend some time with you and our audience to hear your voice, and most importantly, pull some knowledge nuggets out of this. I know I've got a whole Annie Mac crew tuning in. You know, ultimately are a branch manager. You also are the CEO of Mortgage Marketing Animals, which you've developed an entire coaching army of amazing people to help lift up other loan officers and producers. For those of people that don't know you, can you just share a little bit on what you do and how you built out your empire?
You know, it's kind of humbling. It's honestly, Kelsey, it surprised me on how well things have worked out. I mean, gosh, it seems like that not that many years ago, I was literally washing eggs for a living. I used to do that. I don't know if you know, people actually when you buy an egg in the grocery store, somebody has washed that egg before it goes to the grocery store, and that was me. Like I literally used to wash eggs for a living, and gosh, here we go. Here we fast forward a little bit, and you were kind enough to post the numbers, but last year, year 2020, my team closed. I'm looking at a little cheat sheet here. 1,705,243,986 funded. 1.7 billion
Wow.
in a year. It's unfathomable for me to even think of that, which came to 8,719 units. And you know, somebody will always say, "Well, no fair, Carl. You had help." It's like, duh. Well, of course, right? I mean, you know, last I checked, Henry Ford had a couple of people helping him build cars, and I gave you know, having help isn't an unfair advantage. It's an IQ test, right? It's you know, it's that old thing of if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. I couldn't do this right, not at this level, you know, because by myself, I don't know, I was probably closing 4 loans, 5 loans, something like that. And to go to 4 to 5 loans to having a team approach doing 8,719 for the year. Yeah, I had some help, a lot of help. You know, if you ask, well, how much of that did I do? I mean, just being honest with you, very little. You know, it's leverage, and leverage is not an uncool thing, right? So leverage is where I leverage each and one of them in a very cool and grateful way to do what they do. And then they leverage me, right, to do what I do to help drive the traffic to be able to close, you know, to have that many leads and that many people talk to and that many opportunities to help people. So we leverage each other back and forth. There's nothing wrong. Like I leverage my wife and my wife leverages me, right? We're 2 different people with 2 different talents. And my team, they have talents that I don't have. And I have talents, although few, you know, that they might not have, you know, or as much of. So it's all about leverage. Just like the other day, I was listening to something. I had my caffeine this morning, so I might be rambling here a little bit.
I love it. Go, go, go.
So this, I didn't have caffeine, by the way. I'm a tea drinker, but I drink herbal teas, no caffeine. So, but I was listening to something the other day, and a guy was saying, and he's a good trainer, right? He was giving good information. It was just one thing I slightly disagree or have a different approach to. And he said, you know, you have to prioritize and do what's most important. And I started thinking about that, and I thought, well, on the outside, that sounds like a good idea, but what if important thing closed me? And I'm going to just use the numbers of people that typically can relate to. So let's say important thing is going to close me 15 loans a month, but next important thing is going to close me 8. So if I only focus on the 14, I'm at 15 loans for the month, which is good, man. Nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. But if I could focus on the second most important thing, it'd bring in another 8. And let's say if you're making $2,000 per closing, 8 times 2,000 would be 16 grand. By ignoring the second most important thing, I've just left 16 grand on the table. I just left 8 families that I could have helped get into a home, help solve a problem with, 8 different real estate agents, close on time, getting great communication, following up on their leads like green on a pickle so they get more leads going forward. So I need to focus on the most important, the second most important, maybe even the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Well, how do you do that? Help, leverage. So I'm focusing on number 1, and then I have, I don't know, Diane in the office focusing on number 2, and I have Melissa in the office focusing on number 3, or maybe Diane's doing number 1 and I'm doing number 3, right? And so we have team members. So it's like I hear people say, well, do I focus on refis or purchase? It's like both. I don't want to give up one for the other. So maybe while I'm working on the refi list, I'm going to have somebody else in the office helping me with the purchase. Or while I'm doing the purchase, I'm going to have individual people in my team focusing in on the refis. Because otherwise I'm not helping some families I could be helping, and I'm missing out opportunities to help build my, at my stage of the game, my legacy, right? My legacy for my family, my kids. And so, yeah, don't focus on the main thing, like focus on the main things.
Yeah. And when you talk about leverage, back to your team, that leverage is also going to contribute to those people's lives, their livelihood, their income sources, their financial freedom. So it's almost a way of giving back where you're creating employment for these team members.
I have to tell you, I got a call. It's funny you say that. I got 2 calls yesterday. One from, is it okay if I say their names? I think so. So I got a call. I got a call from both Mike in my office, and I got a call from Erica in my office. And it's funny, and not funny, but it's ironic. And both of them called me up, like at separate times, like emotional, with gratitude that they were helping more people than they ever thought. So they enjoy that, the positive effect of helping other people, right? Because they get, love notes, so to speak, we call it. They got their phone calls today from people that appreciated them, and that filled their tank. And oh, by the way, they're making more money than they've ever made in their lives. And so, yeah, it's called a ripple effect. That's like, the fine gentleman that got me in the mortgage business, my dear friend Ralph Watkins and his wife.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, Ralph and Kristen got me in the mortgage business. So just by that one, oh, by the way, conversation one Tuesday afternoon, he's now affected tens of thousands of loan officers across the nation, and not in a small way, in a very, very big way. And so, Kelsey, I like to think that you and I have influenced each other, right, in a cool way. And had it not been for Ralph to get me in the business, that would have never happened. So by Ralph's ripple effect, he's vastly made a difference in the entire mortgage community by just one simple conversation. And I'm just one person on that one day that he talked to. Who knows about the other people that he talked to? Same thing with you, as these people that you're talking to, and all these classes and all this information that you and your wonderful company bring the loan officers. The ripple effect of that is like literally immeasurable.
There's so many people that are involved in this business that get to contribute. And, you're hitting on something really awesome, which I love to talk about and I love to pull into our business, and that's emotion. And without emotion, really emotion is created by motion. And, when you have info without emotion, that's rarely going to be retained. And as we as leaders, the mortgage marketing animals, right? Getting out and creating that network of both past clients and referral sources. And one thing I always love that you said is, look, not everybody's going to love a cup of Carl, right? There's the people that,
as hard as that is to believe, yeah.
Let me tell you, I think it's very slim to none, but we both have to realize that we have to align ourselves with those people and then put the gas on the pedal with those people. And can you break that down? I love how you talk about that.
So that really comes to what I call the rule of 25%.
Mm-hmm.
So the rule of 25%, it says that, and I'm going to tell you what, this is truly a law of physics. Like you're not going to change these numbers. That 25% of people are going to love you no matter what you do. No matter what you do, they're going to love you. And Kelsey, I'm one of your 25%, right? There's nothing you could do, because if ever you did anything that would think, well, that was kind of funky. Can't imagine that happening. But even if it did, I know that I'm misinterpreting it, because you would never, ever, ever do anything funky, right? At all, right? So, and then there's 25% of people that don't like you, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, they're not going to like you, right? You could throw gold coins at them, and they'll complain that somebody's throwing something. You're throwing something at them, right? 25% of people like you, but they're on the fence that as long as you're juggling enough rubber chickens, they like you. But if you drop one, now they don't like you anymore. And then 25% of people don't like you, but they're on the fence that is, again, as long as you juggle enough rubber chickens, they'll like you again until you drop one. They don't like you anymore. And I found the secret in life is focus on the 25% that love you no matter what you do. Now, do we need to close our loans on time? Of course we do. Do we need to give good communication during the file process? Well, of course we do. Do we need to follow up on our leads? Well, yeah, of course we do. But the people that say, hey, you're only as good as your last deal, that's the 75%. And you think, well, wait a minute, 25% is a small amount. Look, last I checked, very few of us have 25% of our local market, right? If you're closing 25% of the referrals in your county, I don't care what county you're in, you're blowing it up. And so 25% is actually a huge number, because like if there's a million people in your surrounding area, that's 250,000 of those people will love you no matter what you do. Again, not, when I say no matter what you do, I'm basing that on normal things. Obviously, if I start throwing rocks at even somebody that loves me, at some point they're going to say enough. But, not that we'd ever do that. But I think the point in that is it doesn't have to go perfect. I don't have to form a relationship with every person that I talk to. That frankly, it's going to be a 25% minority, I have found. And I have learned that's okay. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with me or that there's anything wrong with them. It's just we just come from a different place, and we're just not going to be a good match, but somebody else is with them and somebody else is with us. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's like, Kelsey, when we were dating, not you and I, but, independently, of course, when you were dating and before I got married and when I was dating, I dated other people, and they were nice. They were friendly. Maybe they were attractive, or whatever. And it just didn't match. And then when I met the lovely Mrs. White, like everything, like it was like, wow, this is it. You know what I'm saying?
She is super lovely.
And God knows why. Apparently, she thought the same thing about me. But see, it's just that we're that match. And I'm sure she dated other dudes. Certainly, somebody more attractive than I was. And at the time, I was just finishing egg washing, right? So it's not like I was a great catch of any sort.
But you bring up a great point of simplicity, right? Where I always think, when I think of Carl, I think of simple, and complexity is the enemy of execution. And when we find ourselves constantly, like, any salesperson is going to deal with call reluctancy. And guess what? There is going to be a portion of those people that you call that day that's not going to be in your 25%. That's not going to love you, and that's okay. Because as we all know, the more no's you get, the closer you get to your yeses. And it's not meant to be 100% of the time. Yeah. Yes. I think when we ask people why they didn't achieve their goals, a lot of the time it's, I didn't have time, or I didn't have the money, I don't have the energy.
That's not why. That's not why, by the way. You know why people don't achieve their goals is a fear. Fear. It's fear of rejection. It's fear of rejection. That's the only reason. The reason why people don't achieve their goals is they don't go out and ask for it. And there's two reasons they don't ask for it, and really one, and that's fear. The other one is they think they're not worthy of the success. But then that goes back to the fear. And they think, well, gosh, these people are so great, and I'm just me. I'm not worthy of that. I'm afraid. What am I going to say? What am I going to do? What if they ask me something I don't know? Hell, I get asked something I get asked something I don't know, like I'd say, I'd be lying if I said an hourly basis, but certainly a daily. Well, I take that back. It already happened twice this morning. Somebody asked me a question. I had no clue, but I said, "Hey, let me have Michelle get back with you. Let me have Doug get back with you." And I don't feel stupid or inadequate at all because I know I don't know everything about anything, but I know who does. I know who does. And it's not one person; it's the team. You know that Doug might know this, and Kelsey might know that, and Carl might know this, but nobody. And it's okay not to know everything. And nobody's going to judge you on that. I mean, you look at like our doctors, right? Our doctors consult other doctors. And these are men and women of extreme education, right? Extreme, probably no higher education in you know, maybe some as high, but no higher in our entire civilization. And they consult back and forth to each other all the time. They want it's called a second opinion all the time. And somehow as a loan officer or branch manager, we feel, well, gosh, if I don't know everything, I'm somehow inadequate. Nobody sees you as that. Nobody sees you as that.
So, let's go back on your timeline a little bit when you were like, all right, I'm doing 10, 15 units a month. And you were like, I want to be able to scale this puppy where, to $1 billion a year. And on top of that, you didn't just own that piece, that lane that you were in. You wanted to scale and create multiple channels of business and impressions and support and wealth. When you tap into the coaching, really, what year was Mortgage Marketing Animals founded? And also, what was that growth period like? Was there a period where you weren't getting any results and you had to push through some resistance and you had to keep telling yourself, go, go, go? Because your success a lot of times for people looks like overnight success. My success, anyone's success. So I kind of want to hear the nitty gritty.
So I started as a loan officer, and when I hit about 10 loans a month, which took me about 6 months to happen, I was like, all right, I think I'm onto something here, and I opened up my own branch, became back then what we'd call a net branch. For a company that unfortunately got lost in the shuffle back in the crash, the 2007, 8, 9 crash. They were called, I'm not going to give the name because I think there's a new company under that same name now, and they're not related at all. But anyway, so I was a branch manager for this company. And at the time, there were 336 branches. And gosh, within about like 6 months, so like a year in the business, give or take, best I remember, I was the number one branch out of the 336, kind of like I think Robert Filial is for Annie Mac or one of them, same kind of thing. It happened, pretty fast. And when that happened, the owner, his name was Greg Hill. He's not in the business anymore, but I'm forever grateful for him. Greg Hill said, hey, Carl, we're having a conference, for our branches. Would you mind coming and sharing what you're doing this work in? Sure, I'm not doing. At the time, I'm thinking, I'm just doing the deal, right? I'm doing the daily success plan, and I said, sure. So I went and showed it to him, and he said, man, that's some really good stuff. And so after that, I had loan officers in the company reaching out to me to help them out, and so I'd get on the horn, when they're helping them out, and then it got to be so many of them. We started doing it every Tuesday at 2:00. Mm-hmm. But I found that they weren't like, I'd tell them what to do, but they weren't doing it. So I called the company owner, said, Greg, I think I'm going to stop it. He said, how come everybody loves it? I said, yeah, but they're not doing it. And he says, why don't you? And I said, no, why? He says, because they don't have any skin in the game. Said, okay. He says, so charge something for it. And I said, what? You get half and I get half? No, I don't want any of it. You help grow our business. You help a loan officer close more. You help them. You help me. And if you make a couple of dollars, go knock yourself out. So I started charging $17 a month. Okay. And that eliminated about 90% of them, literally. Yeah. And I learned, and then the 10% that plugged in, man, we were on a tear. Like it was remarkable, right? It was remarkable. And the first lesson I learned by that was write small checks to cash big checks. Write small checks to cash big checks. And I have to tell you, Kelsey, that our definitions of small checks and big checks will change, because like literally my monthly personal credit card bill runs more than what my, monthly income used to be. Hell, maybe darn near close to yearly income sometimes, right? And so I learned write small checks to cash big checks. So that's how the Mortgage Marketing Animals actually got started, was just by eliminating this. Yeah, sounds uncool, but finding out who's actually going to step up to the plate. And it's amazing that a pittance $17 eliminated these people, even when they saw the 10% ripping it, like just really having stellar. And I've always been real big about the 32-hour work week. And that here these people were the top branches in the entire company, all working low hours, and people wouldn't write that simple check for $17 to figure out what they're doing. And that was a big lesson. So anyway, it just went on from there, and it evolved. And now we have, hundreds and hundreds or thousands, over 1,000 people in our little coaching community, including many of the fine people at your wonderful company of Annie Mac, because you guys get the mantra of write small checks to cash big checks, and same thing with your inside your company and other great companies that embrace this. Understand that when we write the small check per se of getting help for our loan officers, and we can have them focus on the loan getting activity, right? The activity that happens before the phone rings, and after the phone rings, other people can help with that process. The companies and the loan officers and the branch managers and the area managers that embrace that help philosophy are way far ahead of everybody else, just way far. So I got to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Why do you think some people, and we're not going to mention any names, right? Because we're very respectful. A lot of cool people follow you, and I appreciate that. Why is it, do you think some people don't write small checks to cash big checks? Why don't they go get help? What do you think's holding them back? They know if they get all these top producers all have help, right? All of them. And it's the those that are looking to like get to that next stage of success, but then they're unwilling to write the checks to make it happen. What is it that holds them back, do you think?
Well, you just painted a visual in my head, right? So you're standing at the edge of a cliff and you're about to jump, but you don't see anything down there that's going to catch you. You know that it's there. You know, if you invest your money into it, you know, if you took that step into the unknown, into the path with most resistance, usually your greatest achievements are going to be on the other side. So I think a big part of it is that, and also control. I think a lot of people feel if it's not me, I'm not going to be able to deliver the same, customize the same. People want me, not so much a team, but it's how you teach your people, right? One thing you taught me, Carl, probably like the first 4 years of my career in the mortgage business, I felt like the harder I worked, the better I was, and the more hours I put in, it was like, clocking in, clocking out, and making sure that I had this hard work ethic, right? And you had said to me, it's not so much about the good old boy or good old girl pat on the back saying, good job, you work so hard. It's good job, you work so smart. And I think the day that I, in scaling my team and our business development squad, and as I see other producers doing that, they almost receive more abundance in their life than they would if they were holding on so tightly. Believe it or not, when I take a vacation or when I go travel and I try to focus on work-life balance, I get more leads, more referrals, more business flowing in the door than ever before. And it's crazy.
Yeah, what I found is I call it rule number one. There's another rule number one. We won't go into that today. But rule number one is I'm not as important as I think I am. That in what we do as here, those of us that's watching that's in the mortgage community, they don't want to talk to me. They just want the money, right? They don't want to talk to me. They just want the keys to the house. They don't want to talk to me. The agents just want the commission. They want their people to sell the house and buy the house. They want their commission check and they want it on time. How we do that? Yeah. How we do that, as obviously, as long as it's ethical, legal, and moral, of course, but how we do that and who helps us do it, they don't care, right? That they would rather my somebody on my team answer the phone than hit voicemail every day of the week. I bet you right now, Kelsey, if we was to randomly look in the phone book and grab 10 loan officers' phone numbers and call them, I bet you would hit voicemail literally 8 out of 10. I bet $1,000 we hit it 6 out of 10. Right, more than most, we're going to catch a voicemail. I did one the other day. I swear, I called one the other day, and it threw me to voicemail, and the voicemail was full. And it's like, what are we talking about here? My God, go get an answering service. We're talking about $150 a month that then they take your messages for you. It sounds like a live person. Like they don't answer it, Carl's answering service. This is Bob. How can I help you? Right. They answer Carl's mortgage company or Kelsey's mortgage company. This is, Lisa. How can I help you today? Nobody knows it's an answering service, and they're not willing to write that small check for $150. So when the answering service answers it, we get a text and or email within 3 minutes of them collecting that message of the transcript of that phone call. And then the receptionist in my office, they're the ones that gets those. They can dole that. This goes to the processor, this goes to underwriter, this goes to loan officer, this goes to Carl, this goes to this person. And people are getting, help. And what you want to do, like in setting up your business, no matter what business you're in, is you want to make it easy for people to give you money. Right? Make it easy for people. Don't make it hard for people to give you money. You want to like a frictionless business experience. I call it wet ice on wet ice. You want a frictionless experience. So nobody wants to talk to Carl. They just results. I don't want to talk to Jim at the restaurant. I just want my food.
A perfect example. Yesterday, I walked into the dry cleaners. I had to get a dress fitted. I had it in my car. I was on my way to a different tailor, and I walked in and saw that they'll do it at the dry cleaners too. And I said, can I get my dress fitted? And they said, oh, well, the lady's not going to be here till 4:00. And I said, well, I got to get this done now. And I ended up leaving. And I'm like, they could have had my business right there if they had a different model, right? And it's the same thing in everyday life, and also not putting all that weight on your shoulders. I think too, where we really have to focus on what our customers want and what our company or our team is really good at, and focus on where those two meet. And I think a lot of people are so stuck on the hamster wheel of reactive versus proactive that we get lost in the sea of things. And I think you want to focus on results, not to-do lists. You want to focus on, where your highest and best use. And you always teach this, Carl, what you love doing, and delegate the things you don't love doing. What makes you happy? If you love, just going and having coffee all day long, go have coffee all day long, and hire support to do that around you. And it's amazing because, I see you. I remember we went down to visit you, and you were like, look, girl, you showed me your phone. And I think you had 3 or 4 text messages that day. And, you have a team that's filtering through that, and it's protecting your time. It's protecting your self-care.
Well, it's not just protecting my time. It's not just a me thing. They're getting help faster.
Yeah.
Right. When I eliminate Carl from the process, things happen so much faster. And I kind of say it tongue in cheek, but kind of not. My team does what I would do if I could count on me. Right. But I can't count on me to do it because I have a good heart. Like I want to do it. But then I say, well, I'll help you, and I'll help you, and I'll help you, and I'll help you. And then before I know it, that's not scalable. Right. And then I'm not helping the others. And God knows who those others are actually getting help with. Maybe somebody's going to help them. Frankly, maybe somebody's take advantage of them, and maybe they'd refinance them when maybe that may not be the best thing to do, or maybe they wouldn't refinance them when they didn't show them this other reason that, man, this is a no-brainer, this cash out refinance. Which, by the way, I just have to go off on a slight tangent here. I keep hearing everybody saying, hey, refis are over. They are not over, right? I'm going to tell you the single biggest opportunity this year is going to be the cash out refinance to help your clients out. They've seen growth in their values of their homes. They have a lot of unsecured high interest rate debt. Help these people roll those into a cash out refinance when it makes sense, of course. Lower their payments, get everything paid off even faster still. The cash out refinance is going to be the single biggest opportunity of 2021, right? And it's not going to be, it is now. So all these people that are having trouble with the inventory thing, man, do not listen to what everybody's saying that the refis are over. Maybe the rate and term might have a slowdown to it, certainly. But the cash out refinance, it's not about rates. It's about putting them in a better situation. Not always, but often that's the right thing to do. So anyway, just kind of
I appreciate you sharing. I've got a lot of friends and family watching too. And, there's what a blessed time to be in this business. Well, Carl, I think one thing I've also always taken away from you is it's not so much hitting your goals that make you happy. It's who you are that makes you happy. It's it's the foundation you have around you and the opportunity to really impact others. I think as, we're not always on a mission to cash that check. It's on a mission to serve those. And with that, that's a byproduct of being able to create that wealth around you. People that are watching this, people that are really getting both started and also trying to break through those ceilings that are above them, for you and for them, as everyone's setting up their next year, their next 5 years, their next 15 years, and trying to create that generational wealth, what would be one of your biggest, best words of advice that you could share with this group? And also, like, for you, what's the next level for Carl? Are you trying to get to 5 billion? Are you trying to get to 10 billion? Because here we are in the next, 15, 20, 30 years. What's next for you, and how can others learn from that?
So I would say the biggest thing, probably the single biggest thing that's helped me out more than anything else in all aspects of my life is number one, write small checks, cash big checks. Number two, wear black pants. And what I mean by that is I have this saying, fear, and I hope it's okay for me to say this, but this is a real message. So fear is peeing in your pants, right? Courage is doing what you need to do with wet pants on. And what that means, and I know that sounds kind of funny, and it is.
I love this. Yes.
But what that really means is everybody has fear. Like everybody has fear. And it's just the people that keep moving in a positive direction, they feel that fear and they do it anyway. That's the, that's the old joke is like I always wear black pants, because I feel the fear, per se, and pee in my pants. But I do what I need to do with wet pants on. So I push through that fear and do it anyway. There was a book written not too long ago. What was it? Feel the fear and do it anyway. Frankly, the book was just so, but the title was phenomenal, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. And man, just give it a whirl, right? Give it a shot. Like, just try it for a little bit. If there's something you want to do, invest into it for 90 days, see how it goes, right? Just do it. And you go, well, what if it doesn't work? And what if I write this check and I don't get? Just try it out. Take a swing, right? I take a lot of swings that don't hit, right? But I take a lot of swings that are absolutely rip the leather off the ball. Like, just it's a real home run for us.
And the thing is,
yeah, the thing is, you never know which one's it going to be. And so I take a swing, and if it works, then I hire somebody to start doing that for me. And then I do something else. It works. I hire somebody to do that one for me while somebody's doing number one. Now somebody's doing number two. And then I take another swing, struck out, try it again, struck out, try it again, struck out. Okay, that one's not for me. I'll work on the next one here. And I'm not afraid of the strikeouts, and I'm not afraid of, not you, Kelsey, because I know we're each other's 25%. But nobody looks at Carl when I strike out and go, he's dumb, he's stupid, right? Nobody thinks that. They
look at you like, wow, he has faith and courage to try it.
Or they just don't care. Look, people think about us way less than what we think they do. They're too worried about what you think of them. And so they're not going to look at our strikes out and spend any time thinking about them at all. The only person who's going to be thinking about them is us. And it's like, it's no big deal. Let's just press on. So that thing that you've been thinking about doing here recently, and I'm talking to everybody, right? As I'm looking in the camera here, that thing that you've been thinking about doing, that move that you've been thinking about doing, that new help that you've been thinking about doing, that new direction that you've been thinking about, my God, pull the trigger and give it a shot. Like, just try it. I saw our dear friend Linda Boyle made a comment a few minutes ago on here, what we call COI, which is the cost of inactivity or the cost of indecision. Thank you, Linda. So the cost of inactivity or the cost of indecision, that's the biggest expense any of us will ever have in our entire lives, is those things that we didn't do. Is the cost of inactivity, the cost of indecision. That is costing you more money than everything else combined. Where all of us, even at the high levels that I'm blessed to find myself at these days, the things that I'm not doing is costing me more than just being honest, the millions and millions of dollars that I make in personal W-2 income. I'm leaving way more on the table than I'm taking off the table because of my own cost of inactivity. So it's the challenge is just acting on all these ideas that I learned from the smart people like you, Kelsey, and the wonderful people that you surround yourselves with, the people in the Freedom Club where they're sharing ideas back and forth. And so my next thing is implementing even more of those ideas with even more of a team to help me with that. But it all starts with one. Get one thing going, and then duplicate that, and then duplicate that, and then duplicate that. And I think a big part of the fear of adding a team is as soon as I bring on that one person, I think, well, gosh, now I'm responsible to make sure that person has a job for the rest of their lives. And that's not true. That when we bring on a team member, we're responsible for giving them an opportunity. They're responsible for grabbing that opportunity and running with it and seeing success with it. I can't put it on my shoulder. Look, there's I think somewhere around 500 employees today, between my training company and the mortgage company that I'm a part of. There's like over 500 employees that are counting on Carl to go out and do what he does today. I can't put that on my shoulders because I'm not big enough to carry that weight, right? I'm not man enough or person enough to do that. And so how I had to start looking at it is I'm responsible for 0 of them. I'm responsible for giving them an opportunity, but they're responsible that they're processing files and asking for the business. When they talk to our referral partners and when they talk with the borrower and the co-borrower, they're responsible for helping to bring in new leads also, right? And so we offer them opportunities. They're the ones that seize those opportunities and grow with it. Those that do that will rise with them, and they'll rise with us. And those that don't, no hard feelings, this isn't going to be a good match for them. So you do not own the responsibility of that employee's livelihood from the rest of your lives, unless it's your husband or your wife, right? It's their responsibility to run with it. And if you hire the right person, that'll work well. And if you don't, no hard feelings. Hey, it just didn't work out. You know, do a kind exit and say, hey, this just isn't working out. But don't stop doing it. Go do it again. If we get a bad haircut, we don't stop getting haircuts. We just get a different barber. All right, no big deal. I learned that from my dear friend Steve Kyle. So
shout out to you, Steve.
Yeah, it's just stepping. And I know it's a cliche, but it's doing the uncomfortable, right? And after a while, I don't know, it's not so scary anymore. I mean, do I still feel fear? Of course I do. I felt fear right before we came on here. I thought, it's my dear friend Kelsey. I hope I can convey. I hope I do it right, make her proud, right? I had that fear for sure, right? We just do it anyway, and it's okay, and it it doesn't always work out, but most of the time it does.
You learn from it,
I'll be better because of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave on this note. I think that something that Gersino was talking about with his team was, whether you are the millionaire, have the millionaire mindset, write down the characteristics of the things that you want to show up to as every day. And, even write down a list of 20 people that have influenced your development, who have influenced you, and then writing down really what they contribute to your life, right? Is it work-life balance? Do you admire them because, they're very disciplined and they have great accountability? Do they give you that nurturing love in your life? And me doing that exercise, it taught me that you almost have to develop and see the different mindsets of the people that you look up to in your life and emulate that. But at the end of the day, you're never going to just show up as all those things combined. You need to pull that out of your arsenal when you need to. So it really is mental strengthening. And you're right, Carl, before signing on to this too, it was, you get the butterflies, the adrenaline's flowing, you hit live and you're here. But it's those who take the time to be consistent and show up and do the difficult things. And I promise you, my friends, you guys will get the results. So Carl, I just love you. You're like a big brother to me, and I value you because you really come from such a good place. I always love to end every Inside Edge with picking a word that feels right today, this year, the theme of your life. Just one word that comes to mind, and can you share with why that word feels so deeply to you?
For me, it's at this stage in the game, I would have probably answered that question different even just 3 years ago. But in this stage of the game, for me, it's about honor. And that I believe and it's just a personal thought, right? I'm not necessarily saying it's the way you think or other people might think. It's the way I think. my belief system, that I believe we're all given gifts by the good Lord above, right? All of us. Most people never find out what the gifts are because they don't push through the fear to find out what they are. And so I think the good Lord has blessed me with as he has with everybody. I just want to make sure I clarify that, right? But I think the particular gift he gave me was helping people. And so I have to honor those gifts, honor my creator by actually going out and helping people. And I know that might sound kind of corny, and I get paid for what I do, right? I'm not embarrassed to say that. I think that's part of the gift also. But I help a lot of people that, that don't write a check, right? And that's okay too. So for me, it's about honoring my maker and honoring those wonderful people like yourself, Kelsey, that's been a huge influence on me and that I've learned from. And like my dear friend Ralph that got me in the business, right? My dear friends Tammy Schneider and Diane Ranger that I've learned so much from, that I can best honor their gifts they've given to me and the things they've taught me. How I can honor them best is by going and helping other people down the road. And my hope as people are watching this is you'll hear some of this information and you'll share it with people that you know. And you'll tell them about, hey, this Kelsey with Annie Mac does this wonderful thing here on these Facebook Lives, and invite other people. And not for some, not that Kelsey or myself can sell them something, but that we can help somebody, right? And I think that we honor those people that taught us by continuing the message, and it goes back to the ripple effect. So my ultimate hope is that somebody will take this information and they'll teach it to somebody else that I'll never even hear of, right? They don't even know, they might not even know it was me that came up with the information, which is totally cool. I don't care if they share my name or not. Share the message. Don't share the name, share the message. And yeah, so that's just a thing I've been thinking about at my stage of the game, that it's more about having a legacy and the message going on from here, not the messenger, but the message going on from here, and go make a difference. And the thing I want to leave you with is you're worthy, right? You're worthy. The biggest thing holds people back is fear and not feeling worthy. And I just want to let y'all know it sounds corny, but I believe in each and every one of you. Go out and make it happen. And it's okay. My daddy used to tell me, son, if you don't skin your knees from time to time, you're not running fast enough. So go skin your knees every now and then. It's okay. Right? It's okay. So anyway, might sound like a little, but that's just where my heart is today. So
I love the depth of that message.
I appreciate you, my friend. You're an unbelievable person, that you've achieved so much in such a short period of time, and all the people that you influence. Certainly, a lot of people in the Freedom Club and the Mortgage Marketing Animals. Your wisdom, your charm. You're just you got a lot of good stuff going on. It's you're impressive. I really appreciate you. So thanks for having me on today, Kelsey. It's an honor to be in front of your group.
Back at you. And, it just goes to show, you are a representation of the people you surround yourself with, and you have to be very selective sometimes on the messages you hear and protecting your mind. So Carl, there's been so much depth to this conversation and a lot of healing. I personally feel like I needed this. And it's funny, until this morning, I was kind of having a rough morning. I was feeling a lot of resistance up until this call. And I believe that you have to follow that like a compass sometimes and go straight into the fire. So amen. I love you. And the Inside Edge guys, tune in next time. Thank you for being here.